For years, the First and Ninth Circuit courts have been considered two of the most activist judicial bodies in the United States. Time and time again, they've been criticized for getting the law wrong, disregarding the Constitution, and pushing political agendas instead of respecting the rule of law. The Ninth Circuit in particular has built a reputation for extreme activism and legally questionable rulings. It's notorious for its decisions being out of step with constitutional principles, and for being overturned by the Supreme Court more than any other circuit in the country. Now, if you live in a state under the jurisdiction of the Ninth Circuit, this matters a lot. This court's rulings affect millions of Americans across a huge area: Montana, Idaho, Arizona, Nevada, California, Washington, Oregon, and Alaska. When the Ninth Circuit makes a poor ruling, it can have a direct and damaging impact on your rights, especially your Second Amendment rights. But today, there's some positive news, something that could signal a shift in the right direction for everyone living in those states. And yes, it directly relates to your constitutional freedoms. Before we get into the full details, I want to quickly thank everyone who's already subscribed to the channel. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, I'd encourage you to do so. It's free. It only takes a second, and it helps us keep pushing this kind of content out to more people. Subscribing also sends a clear message that Americans still care about protecting their rights and want to stay informed. Now back to the Ninth Circuit. As I mentioned, it has long been a court dominated by judicial activists, judges who have prioritized political ideology over legal interpretation. These judges often side with the state, especially when it comes to restrictive policies, regardless of how they square with constitutional protections. That's why so many of their decisions end up overturned at the Supreme Court. However, in recent years, the Ninth Circuit has begun to shift, slowly but noticeably, toward a more constitutionally grounded approach. Much of that change can be traced back to federal judicial appointments made during President Trump's term. One of the standout names from that era is Judge Lawrence Van Dyke. He has quickly become a strong defender of the Second Amendment within the Ninth Circuit. Many of you might remember him from his video dissent in Duncan v. Bonta, where he broke down why magazine bans are unconstitutional. That dissent made headlines and further cemented his reputation as a principled constitutionalist. And today we have more good news. There's another judge, someone with a clear pro-Second Amendment background, being considered for a seat on the Ninth Circuit. His name is Tong, and just recently, he had his confirmation hearing. What makes this especially encouraging is that Tong isn't just a conservative judge. He's also a longtime member of the International Defensive Pistol Association, IDPA, which shows that he understands the practical and lawful side of firearm ownership. When a judge is nominated to a position like this, there's a formal process that begins almost immediately. One of the first steps is filling out a detailed questionnaire. This document is submitted to the Senate Judiciary Committee and covers a wide range of topics, everything from educational background and prior clerkships to cases they've worked on, organizations they belong to, and more. In Judge Tong's case, that questionnaire reveals something notable. Since 2020, he has been a member of the International Defensive Pistol Association, IDPA. That alone speaks volumes. It shows a real personal connection to the responsible use of firearms, not just a theoretical understanding of Second Amendment rights. But what really sets him apart is his judicial philosophy. Judge Tong shares a similar mindset with two judges well respected by Second Amendment supporters, Judge Roger T. Benitez and Judge Lawrence Van Dyke. These are judges known for sticking to the Constitution and refusing to compromise its meaning to suit modern political trends. During his confirmation hearing, Judge Tong made his beliefs very clear. Here's what he said. Originalism is the method of interpreting the Constitution that looks to the original public meaning of the text when it was ratified. It gives the power to the people, not to unelected judges who serve for life. It prevents judges, ideally, from inserting their personal policy preferences into rulings. It requires them to stick to the text, the history, and the original meaning of the Constitution. That statement tells you everything you need to know. Judge Tong is committed to upholding the Constitution as it was intended, not as activists want it to be interpreted today. That approach is essential, especially in a court like the Ninth Circuit, which has frequently sided with the state of California in ways that have eroded Second Amendment rights. This kind of nomination is exactly why so many people supported Donald Trump for president. Regardless of how you felt about the man, one thing is undeniable. He appointed judges who respect the Constitution and the rights it guarantees. You never know when a federal judge will retire or when a seat will open on the appellate bench. That's why judicial nominations matter so much. Right now, we have a rare opportunity. A seat on the Ninth Circuit is being filled by someone who actually understands and respects the Second Amendment. That alone is encouraging. But even more than that, this nomination was part of a joint confirmation hearing that included another conservative judge being considered for the First Circuit, a court with a similar history of judicial activism and overreach. Both of these courts, the Ninth and First Circuits, are among the most frequently overturned in the country. And the way to bring change is clear. You shift the balance of these appellate courts by appointing judges who believe in the Constitution and are committed to applying it faithfully. This isn't happening overnight, but the progress is real. Slowly but surely, we're seeing more constitutionalist judges added to the Ninth Circuit and others like it. And with each appointment, the possibility of stronger rulings in defense of your rights becomes more likely. The truth is, the Ninth Circuit has shown open hostility toward the Second Amendment for years. That's why appointments like this one are so important. If we want real change, we need judges who follow the Constitution, not rewrite it. And Judge Tong appears to be one of those judges. So here's the takeaway. If Eric Tong ends up confirmed, and I believe he likely will be given the current Senate majority, you'll want to remember his name. If you see his name attached to a future case, especially one involving the Second Amendment, there's a real chance we've got someone on that panel who respects our constitutional rights and applies the law accordingly. That's why this matters. Every time we see a constitutional conservative or a judge who genuinely supports the Second Amendment placed on the bench, it's a step in the right direction. Not just for today, but for the future of our country. These appointments shape the legal landscape for decades. The more pro-2A judges we can get in these lifetime roles, the more we protect our rights for the next generation. Now, of course, it's easy for anyone to talk the talk during confirmation. The real test is what they do once they're seated. We'll have to wait and see how Judge Tong rules once he's on the bench. But based on everything we know so far, his background, his judicial philosophy, and his public statements, there's reason to be hopeful. I'll be keeping a close eye on his confirmation process and will keep you updated as things move forward. If and when his nomination is officially confirmed, I'll make sure to cover it here on the channel and let you know what to expect. Thanks so much for watching today. I truly appreciate your time and support. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It helps a lot. And if you found this video useful or informative, a quick thumbs up goes a long way. Take care of yourselves and have a great day.